There we go. All right. Welcome to the Chord of Connection. I have a very special guest today. There's a moment I think a lot of us hit where you realize you built a life that works but doesn't feel like you. Today, I'm sitting down with Ruth Penfold, who calls this the authenticity gap. Ruth is a former chief people officer turned leadership coach and speaker. She's the founder of Bloom and the creator of Women Who Lead. But what I'm most excited about is we actually met inside of a somatic leadership container. So this just isn't a theory. This is life lived. This is real. Welcome, Ruth. I'm so excited to have you today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. And yes, you're so right. What a gift to connect with each other in that way and to have the opportunity to be here with you now is even better.
Yes, yes. And watching your journey, even after Bridge, I mean, you were already this magnetic, beautiful, radiant human being doing amazing things. But now knowing you on the level that I do and watching you step even further into your power has just been so cool to watch. So thank you so much for your time, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you. No, seriously, my pleasure.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into this. You have a lot to share. You have a lot to teach us. So on paper, you had the career. What wasn't working underneath?
Okay. So on paper, I had the career, but I need to be real and say that career didn't just arrive, right? Like that career was created on my hands and knees through the gravel and the snow and you know what I mean? I think for any woman that has achieved a certain level, particularly in the corporate world, and I was at a chief people officer level, and that didn't that really happened in my 30s. I actually only tried to get there to begin with because I thought I could make things better, right? Because I could see what wasn't working in a broken system, but I was trying to administer the wrong medicine. I was looking at it and thinking, okay, if I can be a leader, then I can make fairer decisions, then I can remove bias, then I can be part of, I can create the change, I can create an environment where people feel better from the inside out. The truth is, Danielle, is that I wasn't also feeling better from the inside out, but I just didn't know it, right? I didn't know it. And because I had been, I started to meaningfully engage with myself when I was about 31, 32. Left my first husband when I was 30. I'm 46 now. So that's a long time, right? And while I was building my career, that was that decade of my 30s, really. And so I thought I was doing the work. I was showing up for different healing modalities and whatever. You don't know what you don't know. And the truth is it's all divine in the end. But in learning the stuff that I didn't know was what was going on underneath, was that my body was in a very, very, very highly functioning version of survival mode for all of my adult life. And I actually think for women, particularly in the corporate world, I actually think that the women I worry the most about are the women that look just like I did. We look like we got it all together. People used to say to me in leadership meetings, Danielle, wow, you handle those questions that people throw out in the all hands so well. You just seem to be able to just pivot. And I'm now, that is a highly, highly functioning fawn response. It means whatever you bring to me, honey, I'm going to make it look graceful. And I'm gonna walk away and then probably not remember a single word of what I've said. And do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so from the surface, you would have looked at me and you would have, a lot of people respected me in that season, and there was a lot to respect. But my goodness, the me that feels it all, the me that at least understands what's happening when those stress responses are kicking up. Because I don't think we can ever evolve out of them. I think we can create spaciousness between us and them. Anyway, I might be getting a bit too in the weeds here, darling. You tell me.
No, you run with it. No, this is good. This is great because what I don't think, I think what you're saying is, and what a lot of people don't understand until they step into this work, is that is a safety strategy. And then what happens is I, step into performance, I do really well from the outside perspective, but then tell me what life looks like, or what my body feels like, or what happens after when I get home.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. And what you've got in somebody who, if you have a highly developed, we call it fawn in the somatic world, but it looks like people pleasing, and you'll recognize that, right? You'll maybe say something and then think, why did I say that? Well, why did I not say this? Or maybe you're freezing and maybe you're not doing anything at all. And the best way that I really got to understand what was happening there is, think about it like this. When you are in your body and something stressful happens, your body wants to put its foot on the gas and get out of there. What's happening with stress responses that look like freeze or even some sorts of fawn is you're putting your body wants to put its foot on the gas, but you're pumping the brake at the same time. Now, I know in America, a lot of people drive automatics. In the UK, we love our manual cars, driving stick, right? It's really funny, actually. We can't let it go for some reason. I'm automatic, automatic everything now. But think of it like you're burning out the clutch. Basically, in your body, you're grinding your gears. So and in a woman in particular, you can see when we are there, because we are these radiant magnetic creatures. And when our gears are grinding, our hair starts falling out, our skin starts to look different, the quality changes, we can look older, we look like, you can literally watch a woman. I call us sometimes the canary in the mine, right? Because you start to see our feathers start to fall out, literally. But we don't know. So what we're doing then, Danielle, is blaming ourselves. We're like, there's something wrong with me. Maybe I should try a different shampoo. Maybe it's the time of life that I'm in. I'm perimenopausal now. Everything can be perimenopause, by the way. So, rather than just going, do you know what's my cortisol doing right now?
Through the roof.
Right?
Through the roof.
What's my body telling me right now? And so I think that the more that we can empower all humans, but my particular specialist, I want it for women. I want women to see what we can't see, because what I see right now is lots of women over functioning and carrying way more than we were ever meant to carry.
Girl, yes. And it's interesting, right? Because we come from, the generations before us were very much patriarchal, which we still operate in that world. But then it moved into deep feminism, and we don't need a man, and we can do this. And women are climbing the corporate ladder and raising babies on their own, and having this whole experience. And as you said, we were never designed to be that way. We are as in our prime, in our, most expansive, doing less and receiving more, because we are allowing, right? Yeah. We are open, and we are not it's the opposite. We get to work less and get more.
Yeah.
When we're regulated.
Yeah. And even though I didn't know what I didn't know, what I will say, Danielle, is that because of the work I was doing in my late 30s, because of the yoga, I was teaching yoga, I was always trying to study myself and trying to work this stuff out, even without really knowing as much as I do today about the body and what was actually happening. I read the books. I just didn't know it was happening in my body, right? Read the books. I still had managed to cultivate sufficient leadership energy that I was but what I would say is I was good at operating in my masculine, but I was good at, I had created a magnetic energy of because jobs were coming to me. Pay rises came to me without me fighting. My last 2 jobs came with massive pay rises. And by the way, were both 4-day weeks, which you don't normally get in a chief role where there's a big corporate owner, right? Yeah. And so I say all that to say, I was already starting to tap into that energy of receiving of the feminine, but the work really of the last 5 years since I left the corporate world has really been dialing that up, right? So that I can embody and both. Yes, I have hella masculine energy. I can create structure and deliver all day long, but can I soften into the feminine and receive and really build my business in that way that feels more organic and natural to me? And that is a journey that I'm still on, right? But certainly I make it my mission to balance these energies, not perfectly, because I don't believe that anybody's energy needs to balance perfectly. And quick side note to anybody who's listening, each human being, like I'm a yogi, I study Ayurveda, right? So what you need to know is that each human being has your own special, unique constitution. It's a constitution of different elemental forces, but also energies. And there is no right way to have masculine and feminine energy in you. There is just the way that is the most authentic expression of you as the unique and precious creation that you are. So if you're a woman with hella masculine energy, who cares? Doesn't matter. But are you cultivating softness in your life? Are you allowing for that creation energy of slight little bit of chaos, a bit of dancing, a bit like, are you letting that out of you? That's what we want to know. Where does she go? Where does she get to play and explore? But don't shame your masculine, because the world has literally groomed you to be like that, right? Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong, Danielle, because I know you have hella masculine too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And thank you so much for bringing that point up, because as you know, in human design, we're all built different. Generators and manifesting generators, which I think you're a manifesting generator, right?
I think I might be a generator, but don't quote me on it.
Okay. Either way, generators we are the energy source of the world. We are designed to build. So it makes sense that some of us women carry a stronger masculine energy and some don't. Yeah. We are designed that way. So what a beautiful, eloquent way of explaining that it's this right? Yeah. If you carry a stronger masculine energy, which women like us who are really here to lead in the way that we lead, right? Not good, bad, right, or wrong, but are you also cultivating this like sense of rest, ease, allowing, right?
Yeah, because that's where you learn that your life can actually fit in around how you work, right? And actually, and this has been, Danielle, the evolution of the programs that I've created for women over the last 4 years, right? Initially, it was more about leadership strategy. It was identity work. It was like helping people recover whatever misunderstandings they've created about themselves along the way. But now I layer in the somatic level. But the other level that I layer in, which is absolutely essential for women, is our cyclicality. Is understanding that our cyclicality is a superpower. But when we don't live in reverence to that, and we think that we're little men who can be the same every single day, right? That is where a woman is burning out, right? So even if sometimes in your cycle you can be hella masculine, get it done, and do the same gym session every day, right? In reality, you have to meet yourself where you are in your cycle too, because you might survive for years trying to operate like a man. I did.
Yes.
You can do it. But what's actually happening in your body whilst you're doing it?
Well, I'll tell you what happened for me. Yes, because I spent years, I was bodybuilding. I was in a director role. I was forced. I mean, I absolutely play with my cycle these days. You have to. We're designed that way. But I wasn't then. It was up 5 a.m. every morning, progressive overload, like just acting like a little man. Like building like a little man. And I will tell you, my body started to shut down. I had so much inflammation and so much fatigue. And I would have bursts of energy in the morning and then completely crash out at the end of the day. My hormones were fucked off. Like, I have this theory. This is just my theory, and there's probably no data behind it, but I have noticed that the women who end up depleted with testosterone at an early age are people who move through the world like I did. Like my testosterone was completely tanked, and I was operating that way for years. And as you know, like brain fog, all these things come with low testosterone, and I was pushing through more caffeine, more, you know what I mean? Just gassed. It was horrible. And, you know, what I want to hear more about, or what I would love for you to explain to the audience, is what does that look like to start to move in a different direction where you're balancing more of the feminine, moving from this extreme masculine energy in the kind of field that you're in into more feminine energy? What did that look like for you?
Well, so I mean, I think we've already mentioned one of the big doorways. So first of all, if you are someone who's quite fiery, elementally speaking, Ayurvedically speaking, then you're going to hate this. You're going to hate, like, whoever you are, whatever you are, you're going to hate what the right medicine is. So if you're fiery and you're go, the medicine is probably going to be to slow down, and you're going to hate it. If you are someone who is already a little bit more slowed down, the medicine is going to be for you to speed up and start to increase. Anyway, so like, you know, like typically we need to layer in the things that we aren't naturally, right? But a great doorway for your truth as a woman is through your cyclicality. So living in reverence to it. And I take it super deep, and I take it super deep in the programs that I create too, where it's so much more than just tracking your cycle. That's not what it is. Like every single day from a journal standpoint, I start it with what day I'm in my cycle, so that right now I know, I can tell you I'm day 12. Like I don't even have to think about it. I know where I'm at. I'm tracking how my body feels in anything that I'm working with. And I tell you what, man, if 10 years ago I was already doing this, my perimenopausal stuff, right? Like knowing your body, to my sisters watching this, knowing your body gives you power in a system that right now is still not designed to give you that, right? So you need to and I'll tell you, like perimenopause, I started going and having tests. They came through and told me all kinds of things that I should be doing, but only because I've been living in reverence to myself for a number of years now, was I like, wait a minute, what are you saying here? Like they were telling me all kinds of crazy things that I needed to buy from them in order to. And so just be careful about what people will tell women to do. Anyway, so starting with that, what are you tracking? And I also track, what am I working on? Like, so have I done the thing that I'd intended to do today? And then I'll add tags around that. How did I feel in my body today? What have I not said today that I should have said? And what are my learnings for the day? That's what my tracking looks like. And what that means is I'm deeply tuned in to my body. And that is a huge part of how I have become embodied. That and the physical practices that then bring me into my body. But even like, bear in mind, most of us live from the head up, right? So if you spent your whole life living from here up, telling you to suddenly start living from your body is literally like, you're like, what are you even talking about? I am living from my body.
Yep.
No, you're not. Right. So then let's meet you where you are, which is where I was, in a very cerebral place. Okay. So then let me just look at my data. Where am I? What did I hold back? Because when you're asking yourself questions like, what have I not said today that I should have said? What you're actually asking yourself is, where did I get into a stress response? Really? Right. The other thing I've asked myself in the last year, because I've been really looking at anger, is, where have I picked up a resentment today specifically, right? Or because for many women, if you ask us where we felt angry, we can't answer you. We cannot answer you. We're like, I didn't get angry. Like the way that women are groomed in our world is so remarkable, because literally a woman, something will wrong us. Right. And this is, by the way, someone who's not a fighter, because then, you know, maybe if you've got a good fight response, then more power to you. Great. Yeah. The average woman, right? Some sort of input material will come in, and it's not even a ruffle. The mask comes up. Oh, that's fine. They didn't really mean it. That's fine. They didn't really mean it. So I literally have to go digging to go, actually, so what happened in my day today? Well, was I annoyed about that? I wasn't annoyed about that. Maybe I was annoyed about that. And doing that process of like really excavating anger and dancing with it, because otherwise you will believe what the headlines of you will say, I'm not angry. I'm just not really an angry person. And I think that's not all women, but I know a lot of women who are like, I'm just not really angry. I'm okay. I'm okay. Except you wait till you leave that thing out, and then I'll be like salty and resentful.
Yes.
And I won't know why.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Everybody bring out, like, just whip out a piece of paper, a journal, and a pen, and back it up about 5 minutes. Like, that was amazing. I love the way you keep it so simple. Tracking my cycle, checking in. Now I have actual data, because we were never meant to outsource anything, honestly. We were never meant. I just did an episode on this that came out Monday where it's like, and now I'm like inspired to go deeper on it, because we were never meant to outsource anything. We have everything that we need.
We have everything. Yes.
This amazing, brilliant internal guidance system. And I'm going to start doing that. I am literally going to start doing that.
I've actually got a Notion tracker that I'm like, I'll share it, and then you can share it just to see, so that you can see. I do it in an app called Day One, and I can send the instructions for it. But like, it is life changing. But we weren't meant to outsource anything. And listen, if there are to my sisters who are listening right now, also things like, like the real trouble areas, and this is more of an Ayurvedic lens, right? But the real trouble town, your digestion, is it working? Yes or no? Like, has your elimination stopped, or is it too much? Because for many of us in Ayurveda, we see that as the seat of disease, right? Dis-ease that leads to disease, right? So anything that's not quite right, like, I think for years, women tolerate bad digestion, right? Right. See?
Yeah.
There you go. Right?
Very much so.
There you go. And so tracking things like that, beyond just the like, do I have period pain? Do I have swelling? Also, like, I track, do I have I had a headache? Have I had a migraine? Have I had a this? Have I had a that? So I'm tracking the symptoms of stress in my body too, so that I can, and because that makes it more real. Because if you ask the average person, do I feel stressed? Honey, you don't know what not stressed feels like. You've been living in this world your whole life, and it's stressful.
Yes. You know what's coming up for me now? I want to touch on the digestion piece first. I always had struggled with digestion. Always. And not until this past year have I started to really, has that started to change. But even the last couple of weeks, I had a lot of, and this is where really checking in deeper with yourself I would have been able to catch it quicker, but I had a lot of tension building in my stomach, which was slowing everything down, right? And it was because there was something I needed to say that I wasn't saying.
That's it.
Literally my whole life, right? Especially when you come from dysfunction or high stress environments as a kid, you like all the internalization and suppression messes it all up.
That's it. And in my 20s, so from the age of 19 to 30, I was in an abusive relationship, right? Like domestic abuse. And so that was 12 years of my life. And what I will say is, I didn't even know that's what I was in, because to me, that was just life. And if anybody's been in those dynamics, particularly for a prolonged amount of time, you're not thinking about leaving it. You're thinking about, how do I not upset the person who's abusing you, right? Like, it's a very dysfunctional dynamic to be in. I say all that to say, my body at the time, I was completely disconnected, but I went and had all these tests done, and in the end, what they said is, you have IBS, right? You have IBS. No, it's not something more serious, but I had all these food intolerances and and I still do, all these things I couldn't eat, blah, 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 blah. I say all that to say, when I left that husband when I was 30, like the way that my body changed, digestively speaking, it's still the place that goes wrong in me when something's not right. First, for like first signal that something is wrong is there. But like, don't underestimate these things that you think you need medicine for, right?
Yes.
It's literally the body. So like you could be taking something that might stop the symptom of the thing, but all you're doing is like the thing is still going to be there because your body's not right.
Right.
And so, and that was years of my life. And then suddenly I was like, oh, I think I'm okay now. Like literally, I do not suffer with that today unless I've eaten something that's not right for me. And then like anybody, I will be unwell. Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that wasn't like, that was pretty much like, you know, within the first couple of years of leaving, once I kind of found my feet, because I literally did not know who I was, which is, by the way, though, Danielle, that's why I call what I do bridging the authenticity gap, because I woke up at the age of 30 from that abusive relationship, functioning in the world and in the workplace, but I had no idea who I was. Like, not a clue. Like Bambi on ice. Like, literally, like I just popped out of an egg. Right? So that's where that actually all began for me. Yeah.
Wow. That's so profound. Yeah, I cannot stress enough the emphasis on being in touch with your body and how much freedom there is on the other side of getting to know that, right? Oh, yeah, digestion that's a whole other episode, seriously.
Yeah.
The moment, it's so interesting. The moment I spoke my truth, the moment I acknowledged the fear that was coming up, movement.
That's it.
Movement.
That's it. And every time, you know, like the body is so clever. Like I did actually marry again, and that marriage unfortunately didn't work out, but it was a huge catalyst for me going deeper into this work. But I had something similar with sciatica this time. So my body was like, not comfortable. There's something not right in this marriage. There's something not right with this husband. Can't put my finger on what it is. So I'm just going to throb at you until, and within weeks of leaving, the body was like, okay, no, we're fine now. Yeah.
It's wild. Oh, it's so wild. Well, let's do a little bit of a shift. So you and I met at Extreme Leadership. You had already done Bridge Weekend 1. When did you do the first weekend?
I did that in October of last year. So October 2025. And then we did our program together in February 2026.
Got it. So how did that experience shift your understanding of leadership? Because you've already been in leadership. So what were your biggest takeaways?
So I think what drew me into that work was, I think that you can have all the theory in the world, and yes, like leadership in the realms of the corporate world, we're talking about leading others and leading organizations. And yes, you know, absolutely, I have a lot of experience in that realm. But to really integrate and find out the art of the possible when it comes to embodiment, right? To be in an environment that's constantly reminding you to be embodied. And the main reason that I wanted to do that was because the more that I've learned about somatics, which is quite a lot in the past few years, you know, I've been a yoga teacher for 10 years, but I also went deep and studied Kundalini as well. So really looking at energy, really looking at, you know, like I've had like parallel career tracks that now weave together, right? Like yoga and the leadership side, right? But I say all that to say, why was I talking about that? See, perimenopause.
We were talking about what you learned from Extreme Leadership and why you.
I know what it is. When you hear the statistic that by the time you're an adult, 95% of how you show up in the world is automated. That means that whatever little coping mechanisms you created as a kiddo and throughout your whole life to stay safe, your whole personality is pretty much a performance, right? Now that became clear to me, but where is the playground where I get to work on that 95%? And that is what the bridge and extreme were for me. It's a playground where I actually get to look at what are the unconscious ways that I'm showing up in the world still that might be getting in the way of me creating the life and the business that I want, right? So, and I'm just like, there is pretty much nothing I would not try towards like becoming all of who I am. And I'm not being unrealistic and thinking I can live fully present in that 95%.
Sure.
But if I can get to like 20% present, 20% free will, not 5% free will, then it means that I'll be able to show up in my highest, best energy more often.
And it means that you're showing up more present than probably 90% of the world at a 20% capacity.
Right. We've got to be realistic. The human body is wired to automate, right?
Yes.
To be like, I'm not, thirst will come in and my hand has already reached for this and I don't have to, like, your body will just take a drink when it needs to take a drink. You don't have to actually consciously think about it unless you're in a circumstance that's making you think about it, right? So some of it is just optimizing, like when you realize that walking is just a controlled fall, you realize how lazy humans really are, and we will optimize anything. We'll optimize anything. Basically, think about it. We used to crawl around and use all this energy, and then we were like, no, if I just like stand and lean and then move a foot, I can get places. That's literally, that's all it is. Isn't that crazy?
I've never thought of that. I have never thought of that. But I mean, come on, evolution, right?
We are the laziest, right?
Of evolution.
So think about it though. Like if that's what we're doing with moving around, just like everything, we're always trying to like find the easy way of, right? We can't have it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What would you say, how would you explain the difference between performing confidence and actually embodying power?
I think that it is the difference that is felt. Because when I was in those leadership roles, I was performing confidence and I was performing confidence and touching sometimes into something more, right?
Yeah.
But not living in something more, right? The difference, but therefore that creates like almost like a mistrust in people that they can't name, because on the headline, they're like, well, Ruth's a really nice, friendly, high energy person. Yeah. Like, but deep down in them, there's like, but there's something I can't, and they may not think about it consciously, but there'll just be something that's getting in the way, right? Embodied confidence is the difference. An embodied human is somebody doesn't need to question who they are with, even with all the boundaries in the world, right? So that doesn't mean, by the way, that you're suddenly available to everybody or that you don't, right? It doesn't. But it means that when you walk into a room, people can feel who you are. And in being able to trust what that is, they trust you, your leadership, and what you have to say. And really, that's the key of, leadership. Can I trust you? Do I think that you're telling me the truth?
Yeah.
And people who've been in the corporate world, you can answer that for us in comments or messages afterwards. Like, how many times have you felt like you don't quite trust what the person who's in front of you is saying?
Totally. Gosh, it reminds me of that exercise. I don't want to give too much detail away, but the animal body thing where we were quite literally judged on a 10-minute interaction with someone. And it was like, what is their weak spot? What's working for them? What's not working for them? And do you trust them or not? And I remember I felt so crushed because I had two people say they didn't trust me. And I was like, oh my God, but it was something their body was picking up on.
That's it. Which is why it's really important. It's really important. The first time I did bridge twice. The first time I did it, everybody trusted me. The second time I did it, when I was feeling a bit more relaxed and more comfortable in who I was in the environment, 5 people were either don't trust or not sure. And I took that as beautiful medicine because it means that there is protection around my heart that people can feel. And that means that in the world out there, Danielle, that would be what people would still be feeling. So to me, that was like, and I think also though, to anybody listening to this, the more that you love and appreciate and value yourself, the less you're going to be thrown off by that.
Totally.
The more that you can say, okay, that's not what I would have wanted to hear, but maybe there's medicine in this for me. It doesn't have to be, by the way, though, all true, particularly not in the workplace, because people are like, don't take your performance review as gospel, please. Please, I've had some horrible performance reviews that had nothing to do with me or my effort, right? Nothing. Yeah. So, like, please do not take one person's words as truth for you, but data point. Okay. All right. So I can see that this system is working like this. Is it a system that I'm actually going to thrive in, or do I need to do something else? Right.
And this is why the importance of trusting your inner guidance system and yourself is so important, because somebody, like you said, somebody can say something and I can be like, that's not true. Yeah. And I'm not offended by it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay. And here's the thing also, Danielle, the more confident a woman becomes, the more she knows who she is, the more she is becoming a woman that we don't quite recognize yet. And so like, particularly for women, like, I'm not saying that there's not truth in things by all means, but a confident woman is uncomfortable for our bodies because patriarchy has trained us, all of us, that women are meant to act a certain way, and it's not necessarily that. And that's not to demonize men. I'm talking about a system here, not a species, right? System. It's a system that we all uphold. But right now we uphold that in a way that doesn't let really any of us be whole human beings, men included.
Yeah. And now I on this topic of AI too, AI has this like beautiful like gift, right? But it's also, what I'm watching is a lot of people now relying, and I had to check myself at one point too, relying on this to process. And we don't need any of that, right? We don't need, and it's conditioning, it's still outsourcing, right? Like, it's just crazy to watch how much they have set up a system where it's like, how can we get them to not trust themselves?
Right.
How can we get them to continue to outsource so that they're not going in? Because when you are tapped into your inner truth and your inner knowing, you are fucking unstoppable.
Right. And that goes for everybody, but in particular women. Because we don't see many of us like that yet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yet. Because when a woman is in her power, when a woman knows her yes and her no, when she has cultivated sovereignty, then she leads in a different way. And one of the reasons, by the way, why I am so focused on women in leadership and supporting women to step into bigger jobs, even if it means they ultimately leave the workforce and do their own thing, I don't mind what that end result is because I believe the world will hit different when more women are leading it from our truth. That doesn't mean taking it off men. It means that in the rooms that we're in, we're able to say, wait a minute, that's not right. So wait a minute, let me give you this feedback. Hang on a sec. This is not how, like, that we're so in alignment with our inner compass that we trust ourselves enough to know that there's nothing wrong with us, and trust the oracle wisdom that we came through with, because we see things in a way that they don't. We were never meant to be the same as each other. We're so different. And one of the things that keeps all of us stuck is thinking that we're the same. We're not the same. We're different. But we can coexist beautifully in a dance, even in an organization and a leadership table. But we all have to, it's like almost, as long as we're pretending that we're all the same, like no one gets anywhere as far as I see.
No, absolutely. Oh, so good. Yeah, so I want to go back to the authenticity gap a little bit. So if someone is realizing they're in the authenticity gap, where do they start?
Yeah.
Where do you start with them?
So the way I define the authenticity gap is that it's the space between who you really are and who you feel you need to be out there to survive in the world, right? So it's this series of masks and coping mechanisms that you've created, right? The challenge with the authenticity gap, though, is you don't know until you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for a long time, you're going to think that that's just you. You're going to think that you're shy. You're going to think that you don't really want to present that thing. You're going to think that, you're just going to, like, in my case, I'd fully forgotten who I was. I'd forgotten that I loved to dance. I'd forgotten how to have opinions. I'd forgotten, I just didn't know. Like, I did not know. I spent 12 years in service of my relationship at the time, and I just didn't know, right? So what I do with humans, and by the way, I do this with mixed leadership teams on offsites. We might be doing it in a slightly different way where we're looking to lead a culture in a certain direction, but all my work starts here with humans. Who you are, why you are, what you are, right? Getting you locked into your inner compass, your value system, and then using that as your decision-making model in the small moments of your life initially, as we then rewrite the story that you've learned about you and the value that you bring. I call it the case, working through your case file of excellence, right? We literally go back through your whole career and we go through your career narrative in a way that's not just about how you show up in the world to tell your story for a job interview, because what matters more is how do you see your journey? Do you see it as you got lucky and thank goodness they didn't find out and you probably didn't deserve that job and woo, what are all the lies that you've internalized about you and made fact in your body? So we need to, like, and literally, but pulling these lies apart, it's like prizing them open, right? We prize them apart. And then we set a vision for the you that you know you really are. And then we set very tangible goals for getting there. So we set a vision, like the version of you that you want to keep becoming. But I really do think for most women, even in the corporate world, we don't give a shit about job titles. But you ask a woman how she wants to feel, and like we can tell you, right?
Right.
And so the vision then becomes like, okay, great. And then the mission this year, what are the experiments that I could run in my life that could get me closer to that version of me? Just experiments. Everything is an experiment. And then in this quarter, what are 3 buckets of things that I want to experiment with? Maybe it's communication. Maybe it's my next job. Maybe it's yoga teaching if it was me 10 years ago, right? So we're looking at, okay, who are you really? But then we're also really tangibly giving you the way to reclaim yourself at the same time, right? So that you're not just like, okay, I'm showing up differently and I don't know what I'm doing. It's just like, no, this is who I am. Great. Now I know that. Now I can make decisions from here. Now I can communicate from here. The somatic stuff, the embodiment stuff takes a little bit longer, I'll be honest. It took longer for me. But even from basically understanding the correct interpretation of myself and the value I brought, that's what made me get those big jobs and get those big pay rises, right? Because I believed in me. And so when they were coming to me, I was like, heck yes, you'll be lucky to have me in that role, not in arrogance.
Yeah.
Just because I understood the truth of myself.
Yes,
right?
girl.
And not trying to sell myself like a man might either. Selling myself in a way that feels authentic, which isn't lying ever, because like ask any woman, we don't want to lie. We don't want to get like, we don't want to lie. We don't want to say something that's not true about ourselves, because the penalty for being caught in a lie about something for a woman is so much higher that we will not in our bodies take that risk.
No.
Which is why when a woman goes for a job, she will say, I think I'm good in this area, but I'm not good in that area. We literally talk ourselves out of the job while we're applying because we're so desperate that nobody thinks we're telling a lie. But yeah, so I mean, that's really it, right? So it's, but you're changing your understanding of yourself, but then anchoring that new understanding into something really tangible that can help you start stepping into that version of yourself more and more and more.
Yes. You brought up such an amazing point. In my opinion, the micro decisions that you make throughout the day are way more important than the big decisions. They just are.
They are.
And they make the big decisions easier.
They do.
Like people overlook, it's like as small as I said I was going to go to the gym today. I have to go to the gym today.
That's it.
Right? It seems like a little thing, but when you're constantly, saying you're going to do something and falling short, even if it's like, I'm going to cook tonight rather than go out,
right?
Whatever it is, these micro decisions help you trust yourself.
Yes.
And when I get to the threshold of a big decision, I have a lot more self-trust.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But start small, because my micro, like before order, there was chaos. In my first marriage, my life was chaos, right? Absolute chaos. And so the small could be as little as today, I'm going to, like, my experiment for this week is I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make my bed every day. And what you do by just making your bed every day is you start to sink in to this beautiful, like, oh, wow, I actually do the thing I say I'm going to do and I respect it. So like what is, I always say all the time, don't try to swallow the watermelon whole, cut it into slices. Maybe the gym is a step too far for you right now, right? Sure. Maybe 5 minutes, waking up 5 minutes earlier is all you got. So do it for a week. Let your body then get the dopamine of you doing something great for you. And then go, okay, now what's next? And these are these tiny experiments, but you're so right, Danielle. Like in my 30s, I weighed 40 pounds more than I do now. And I would make myself these great big promises. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm just not going to eat that thing now. And boop, 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 boop. And then I would never do it. And my relationship with myself was just in the gutter, right? The only way that you do that is by tiny, tiny choices, repeated over time, and taking each day as it comes, and then each week as it comes, and then each month as it comes, and then gradually, before you know it, you look back and you're like, wow. But I think it's really important that we don't look at somebody's year 10 or year 15 and be like, oh, I'm just going to do what she's doing. Because first of all, your wellness, Danielle, is not my wellness, is not somebody else's wellness. We are all unique. So your only job, gang, is like, what do I need? What do I need? What experiments do I need to run right now in the season that I'm in? Like you might be in a season of active duty parenting, and that's going to look a lot different than if you're in a season where that's not the case. You might have just started a big job, and the best that you got is to be able to do one tiny, tiny thing. But these tiny, tiny moments will be the difference between you leaving yourself behind and not.
That's right. That's right. Oh, girl, yes. Oh my gosh, I could talk to you forever. I do want to, before we kind of wrap this up, my girl just did a TED Talk.
I did.
What an accomplishment. Tell us about that experience and what that felt like in your body.
Oh, it was amazing, actually. Like, honestly, real talk, it felt like a graduation ceremony for myself, because I was fully embodied. I was I was in my radiant leadership energy. I loved the talk that I had written. I loved the way I delivered it. It was a remarkable experience. I highly recommend doing a TED Talk, just from I see everything like this, Daniel, as like an opportunity to sharpen the axe, right? But my goal was to, in this TED Talk, which is called Imposter Syndrome Doesn't Exist, it was to speak to the hearts of women and the experiences of women that we don't quite see for ourselves. Because trust me, I didn't see it either until I started coaching women all the time. And then was like, oh, you too? Oh, you as well? And you're not even in the same country? Oh, and you? Right? Yep. Like literally, we all say the same things a different way in the workplace and in our lives, most of us. So that in and of itself was like big. You know, because I didn't see it either. So it's imposter syndrome doesn't exist. So it's to speak to women, but whilst opening the hearts of men. Right. And the first people that reached out to me after the talk were men.
Yes.
And they were like, thank you so much. I actually thought that I've always thought that I was a good man, but now I've realized that I've been letting people shrink around me and I didn't realize that. And it's making me think about all different realms of my life. And I just want to say thank you. I'll be honest, since it's come out, it's more women that are sharing and commenting about it. But certainly the men that have watched it are like, wow, okay, yeah, I didn't really think about that. And by the way, the topics I'm speaking about they're not exclusive to women. I'm just specifically talking about why the workplace hits different for women, because we are trained into relational compliance pretty much. Yep. Right? So we learn in our bodies for good reason that belonging equals safety, and that any threat to our belonging, we register as danger. And and that's not all what's happening in the workplace, but that is what happens to women in our lives. And good girls center others first. We're taught that too. Yep. So unlearning this stuff in the workplace, it is different for women. Yes. It's different. Yes. Like we have a different thing to unpick. Whereas for others, they may have something slightly, it's nuanced, but every human could be suffering from their authenticity gap. Every human can feel like they don't belong. Like that's not what I'm saying, but I did want to specifically call out our experiences and what I've witnessed and how much we all feel something similar, which means that what we're internalizing as us is a system issue.
Yes, girl. Yes. I need to add that you looked absolutely stunning. I was like, is she on the red carpet right now? I mean, oh my God, you looked amazing.
Yeah, no, like in every way, like I said, it was like a graduation ceremony. It was literally like, and look, gang, like I'm 46 and this magic is landing in my life, right? So, like you are, and I'm just getting started. So like wherever we are right on, wherever we are, we're right on time. Do I think there's so much more that I want to do? Heck yes. But trust the timing, trust that whatever you're doing right now, you're in the perfect season. You're learning what you're meant to be learning. Like I'm absolutely sharpening my axe all the time in my business. There's so much I don't get yet that I'm learning. And like, this is the dance. This is life, yo. We don't have to have it all figured out.
Yes.
If we did, it would be boring.
You're absolutely right. And I'm so glad you said that, because it's true. We are in the comparison trap all the time, but we're all uniquely down here to live out this experience, and every phase is so fucking necessary. It's so necessary. The pain, all of it.
The only thing that made me become that woman and actually really become the woman that I embodied on that stage was all of the hard shit.
Absolutely.
The hard shit, I was going to say.
the hard
shit too.
No, literally. Oh my gosh. It's so true. So I assume we can find the TED Talk on YouTube.
Yes. I will share the link with you.
Okay.
But you can literally just go Ruth Penfold TEDx and it's there. And similarly though, you can find me on LinkedIn as Ruth Penfold, Instagram, Ruth Penfold. My website is ourtimetobloom.com. But otherwise I can share those links.
Amazing. Yes. That was my next question. So thank you for sharing all of that. I could sit here and talk to you forever, but we will wrap up the show. I know you have stuff going on, and I'm just so honored to have had you on the show. You are such a light and a leader, and just more than that, you are so authentically you. And you are just so authentically you, and it just really inspires me to step further into that. So thank you.
Well, right back at you, darling. Seriously, women with brains, heart, and spirit are my jam, and like that light shines out of you from a million miles away. So I love to see you stepping into that here, and I absolutely know that anybody listening to this will be like, oh, "When's the next episode? When can I hear more?" So seriously, this was an absolute delight.
Thank you so much. I receive.
Yes.
All right, girl. Well, thank you again for your time. And yeah, send over that link. I'll make sure and post it in the episode. Your episode will be out next Monday. So
great.
Look forward to hearing that.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Until next time.